3 days into my honeymoon, I was diagnosed with infertility. My husband immediately presented me with a divorce agreement and a list of expenses from our relationship, accusing me of marriage fraud and financial gain. He thought he had me cornered, but little did he know he had angered a calm programmer. I will use the value he cherishes most to set up a precise trap that will ruin his reputation and bankrupt him. Watch how I meticulously plan my revenge and take down this heartless gold digger. When I received the diagnosis report, my fingers trembled uncontrollably. Multiple cysts in the uterus, congenital ovarian dysplasia. The black and white words were as cold as a scalpel. The doctor looked at me, her tone tinged with professional regret. Ava, based on the current situation, the possibility of you conceiving naturally is very low. Very low. How euphemistic. And how cruel. 3 days ago, I wore a pure white wedding dress, held Ethan's hand, and accepted blessings from family and friends, thinking that happiness had just begun. 3 days later, I sat alone in a cold consulting room, sentenced to the death penalty for my fertility. A huge sense of absurdity and cold fear seized me. Ethan and I have been in love for 2 years. He is gentle and considerate to me, and we have had countless visions of the future, including having lovely children. I never thought this problem would be on my side. Taking a deep breath, I tried to calm myself down and analyze the situation like debugging a program. The problem has occurred and cannot be undone. The best solution now is to inform Ethan and face it together. I sent him a message. Ethan, the test results are out, and they're not good. Where are you? I want to talk to you in person. He replied quickly, dealing with some things at the company. Let's talk on the phone. I gripped my phone, my heart tightening. It's important. About our future. There was a moment of silence. Then he replied, I'm in a meeting. Let's talk later. Another half-hour passed before he called back. What is it, Ava? His voice was emotionless, sounding particularly distant over the airwaves. I repeated the doctor's diagnosis word by word with difficulty, as well as the verdict that the possibility of natural conception is very low. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone, so long that I could almost hear the roar of my own blood. Ethan? I called out tentatively. Got it. His voice was calm and flat. That's all for now. I'm busy here. We'll talk more when I get home tonight. Beep beep beep. He hung up the phone. There was no comfort, no inquiry, not even a hint of emotional fluctuation. As if listening to an insignificant weather forecast, my heart sank little by little, and unease coiled around me like vines. That night, Ethan didn't come home. I made countless calls and sent countless messages, but they all disappeared without a trace. The house was empty. The festive atmosphere of the wedding room had not yet dissipated, but it was already filled with a suffocating loneliness. It wasn't until the afternoon of the next day that I waited for him at my door. He looked a little tired, with faint dark circles under his eyes, but his expression was unusually calm, even cold. Ava, he said bluntly, holding a document in his hand, let's get divorced. Divorce? I suspect I misheard. We've only been married for 3 days, just because I might not be able to have children? Ethan, what do you mean? I felt my voice wavering. Just because of the test results? We can think of other ways. The doctor said it's not completely hopeless. We can. Enough, Ava. He interrupted me, shoving the document into my hand. I've already consulted a lawyer. Take a look at the agreement, and sign it if there are no problems. I lowered my head and was shocked to see the words divorce agreement. The terms below were clear. In the property division section, he demanded that I leave with nothing. Why? I raised my head, staring intently at him. Just because I can't have children? Ethan, our 2-year relationship, our marriage that has just begun, is it so worthless in your eyes? He avoided my gaze, his tone laced with impatience. It's not because of the child. It's because you lied to me. I lied to you? I laughed in anger. What did I lie to you about? You knew you had health problems a long time ago, didn't you? His eyes sharpened, with an almost venomous scrutiny, deliberately hiding it from me, waiting until we got married to tell me. Isn't that just for our family's money? Ava, I didn't expect you to be this kind of person. Marriage fraud. Marriage fraud? These 2 words were like poison-tipped needles, piercing my heart fiercely. I was trembling with anger. Ethan Miller, when did I know I had a health problem? It was only discovered during the post-marital medical examination. We were in love for 2 years. Don't you know what kind of person I am? Want your family's money? I paid for the decoration of this house. I bought the appliances and furniture. And your family didn't give a single cent of the 300,000 yuan betrothal gift you promised. What am I after? Am I after your age? Am I after you not taking showers? When we were in love, he said that his family's business was short of funds and asked if he could owe the betrothal gift first, and then make it up when the funds were recovered. I understood him and believed him, thinking that we were going to get married, so there was no need to worry about these things. When decorating, he said that he was short of money again, and without saying a word, I took out my savings from many years of work and borrowed some from my parents to decorate this 100 square meter house beautifully. I came here with a rich dowry, wholeheartedly wanting to live a good life with him. Unexpectedly, deep affection and loyalty were rewarded with the slander of marriage fraud and a divorce agreement. Ethan's face changed, as if I had hit a sore spot, but he quickly adjusted and threw another thick stack of paper out of his briefcase. Stop trying to twist the facts, he sneered. You say you weren't after money? Then take a look at this. I picked up the stack of papers. The first page clearly stated, details of joint expenses during the relationship. Below were dense, detailed records of all expenses from the first day we met. XX year, X month, X day, first date, coffee, 85 yuan, XX, month, day, went to the movies, 150 yuan, XX, month, day, Valentine's Day gift, necklace, 3,500 yuan. Every expense was accurate down to the single digits. Even cab fares of a few yuan were clearly listed. In the end, a shocking number was totaled, 58,672 yuan. This is all the money I spent on you during our relationship. Ethan crossed his arms and looked down at me condescendingly. Since you want a divorce, you should compensate me for this money, as well as the emotional and time costs I've invested in you, right? I won't ask for much. 100,000 yuan. Give me the money, and we'll be even. Looking at the ridiculously detailed bill and then at the man in front of me who had once vowed to love me for a lifetime, I felt a chill run straight from the soles of my feet to the top of my head. Anger, humiliation, disgust, all kinds of emotions intertwined, almost swallowing me. So, his so-called love was all clearly priced. So, all the good he did for me was recorded, ready to be cashed out at any time. It turned out that from the beginning, I was like a meticulously calculated investment project. When he discovered that I couldn't bring the expected fertility return, he wanted to stop the loss immediately and even squeeze out my remaining value. Ethan Miller, I said, my voice trembling with anger, my fingernails digging deep into my palm. You disgust me. He shrugged indifferently. Say whatever you want. The agreement is here. The money is ready. Sign it as soon as possible. After speaking, he turned and left, as if he felt dirty staying even a second longer. Watching his resolute back, I clenched the cold divorce agreement and the stack of humiliating bills. After the anger, a strange calmness began to occupy my brain. Very well, Ethan. You taught me that some people don't deserve understanding and forgiveness. You want to settle accounts, is that right? Then let's settle them properly. I need help. The first person I thought of was my cousin, Brandon. Brandon is a few years older than me and works as an executive at a large tech company, Apex Corp. He is shrewd and has a strong hand. We grew up together and have a good relationship. He is the typical other people's child, smart, calm, strong in execution, and very reliable in critical moments. I dialed his number, trying to make my voice sound calm, but the moment I opened my mouth, I couldn't hold back the grievances and said with a sob, Brother, Ava, what's wrong? What happened? Brandon's voice immediately became tense, with a lump in my throat. I told him everything that had happened in the past 3 days, from receiving the diagnosis report to Ethan proposing a divorce and presenting the dating expenses. The other end of the phone was silent for a moment. Then Brandon's voice, suppressing his anger, said, that bastard, son of a bitch. Ava, don't be afraid, your brother is here. Where are you now? At home, which home? The marital home you share with that bastard? Wait, I'll be right there. Half an hour later, Brandon arrived in a hurry. He saw my swollen eyes, the divorce agreement, and the bills on the table, and his face turned grim. Where is he? I'm leaving. Get me 100,000 yuan in compensation and sign the divorce papers. I smiled wryly. Brandon picked up the bill, quickly scanned it, and cursed in anger, "Son of a bitch. Is this supposed to be a man?" He kept track of everything, even splitting the bill for meals and movies, and now he has the nerve to ask for compensation? I thought there was something wrong with this kid's eyes from the start, that he had ulterior motives, but you wouldn't listen. I knew Brandon had some criticisms of Ethan back then, feeling that he was too attentive and had strong ulterior motives, but I was blinded by love and didn't pay attention. Looking back now, I was too naive. "Brother, it's useless to say all this now." I rubbed my forehead wearily. "He's determined to get a divorce and is even falsely accusing me of marriage fraud. I can't just let it go. Of course, it can't be forgotten." Brandon slammed the bill on the table. "We have to get this off our chest. You paid for the house renovation, and you brought the dowry. They didn't give any bride price, and now he's turning around and biting us? Dream on, Ava. What do you want to do? Your brother supports you all the way." Looking at Brandon's firm gaze, my chaotic thoughts gradually calmed down. Yes, I can't wallow in sadness and anger. I need to fight back. Since Ethan values worth and calculation so much, then I will make him pay the price in the way he cares about the most. "Brother, I need your help." I looked at Brandon, my eyes gradually becoming firm. Isn't he trying to settle accounts? Then I'll settle accounts with him properly. I want him to know that calculating against me is the stupidest decision he has ever made in his life. My composure surprised Brandon a little, but he quickly nodded. "Okay, tell me, what do you need me to do?" "First of all, divorce is possible, but not now. He wants a quick resolution, but I won't let him have his way." I began to plan my counterattack as if I were untangling code logic. "Secondly, I want to get back what I deserve, and even more, the renovation costs, dowry, and compensation for emotional distress, not a penny less. Finally, isn't he slandering me for marriage fraud? I want to ruin his reputation and make him pay the price for what he has done." Brandon listened to my plan, his eyes growing brighter and brighter. "Okay, Ava, you've got guts. That's my sister. Need money? Need people? Just say the word." "I don't need money for now, but I might need people." I thought for a moment. "Brother, you have a wide network of contacts. Can you help me check Ethan's recent financial situation? And what's really going on with his so-called business cash flow problems?" "No problem. I'll take care of it." Brandon thumped his chest to assure me. Just as Brandon and I were discussing countermeasures, my phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. I answered it, and a shrill female voice came from the other end. "Ava, you shameless woman. Jinx. Marrying you into our family is the worst luck we've ever had. Not only can you not have children, but you also want to swindle our family's money. I'm telling you, divorce my son immediately, and don't even think about getting a single penny." It was Ethan's mother, my mother-in-law. It seems Ethan has already told his mother that I married him for money story. Before I could say anything, she launched into a barrage of insults, with foul and unbearable language. "Auntie," I interrupted her coldly, "Ethan and I will settle our own affairs. Also, who is deceiving whom, and who is after whose money, we will see in court." After saying that, I hung up the phone directly and then blacklisted the number without hesitation. Immediately after, I discovered that my messenger had also been blacklisted by my mother-in-law. The relationship is completely broken. Very good. This saves me the effort of maintaining a superficial peace. In the following days, I temporarily delayed signing the divorce papers on the grounds that I needed time to consider. Although Ethan was impatient, he probably thought I was still sad and reluctant, so he didn't push too hard. According to the original plan, I went to the hospital to arrange a minimally invasive surgery for a uterine cyst. The doctor said that the cyst was not large and the surgery was simple, and that I only needed to recuperate well after the operation. As for fertility issues, the doctor also said that medicine is developing, and the future is not without hope, such as assisted reproductive technologies like in vitro fertilization. This gave me a little comfort. Although I have completely given up on Ethan, as a woman, I still hope to retain the possibility of becoming a mother. The surgery went well. I hired a caregiver and rested in the hospital alone. I haven't told my parents about the divorce yet, only that I had a minor surgery and didn't want them to worry. However, I underestimated the shamelessness of Ethan and his mother. On the third day of my hospitalization, Brandon called, his voice angrier than ever. "Ava, that beast Ethan, he took people to your parents' house to cause trouble." My heart sank. "What? He brought his mother and some shady people. and they splashed red paint on your parents' doorstep, wrote big characters, and cursed you as a liar and a hen that can't lay eggs. All the neighbors saw it. Your mother was so angry that she had a heart attack and was rushed to the hospital. What? How is my mother? I was so anxious that I almost jumped out of bed. She just came out of emergency care and is temporarily out of danger, but the doctor said the situation is still unstable and she needs to be hospitalized for observation. Dad told me not to tell you yet, fearing that your worry would affect your recovery, but Brandon's voice choked with sobs. I really can't help it. This family is just too much. After hanging up the phone, I felt ice cold all over and trembled with anger. Ethan Miller, how dare you touch my family? Splashing paint, writing big characters, slandering and verbally abusing, making my mother so angry that she had a heart attack. This is no longer a simple divorce dispute. This is blatant harm and insult. A surge of hatred is burning in my chest. I originally just wanted to get back what was mine and make him pay the economic price. But now, it's not enough. Far from enough. I will make him and his mother pay an even more painful price for hurting my family. I forced myself to calm down. Anger doesn't solve problems. It only makes the other side laugh. I need a more thorough plan and a more ruthless counterattack. First, stabilize Ethan. I dialed his number. It rang for a long time before he answered. His tone unfriendly. What? Have you figured it out? Ready to sign? Ethan, I said with a tearful and aggrieved voice. I don't want a divorce. I know it's my physical problem. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have hidden it from you. But after all, we have 2 years of relationship. Can you give me another chance? Let's figure out a solution together. I deliberately lowered my posture, showed weakness, and even carried a hint of pleading. Ethan on the other end of the phone seemed stunned for a moment. Then his tone softened a little, but still with a condescending arrogance. You know you're wrong now? It's too late. My mother is sick because of you. This is not over. I know I was wrong. I will apologize to your aunt. Ethan, I beg you, let's talk again, okay? I continued to play the devoted role of someone unwilling to let go. Ethan was silent for a while, as if weighing the pros and cons. Perhaps my admitting fault attitude gave him a sense of superiority, or perhaps he felt it would be more beneficial to drag it out with me, such as continuing to live in the house I renovated. He relented and said, okay, we'll talk about it after you get out of the hospital, but divorce is inevitable. Okay, after I get out of the hospital, I replied quickly and hung up the phone. Holding the phone, my eyes were as cold as ice. Ethan, do you think I'm really begging you? You're wrong. This is just the beginning of the game. Next, I'm going to have you ring your own death knell. After being discharged from the hospital, I didn't go straight home, but stayed with Brandon for a while. I needed a quiet environment to deploy my plan. The first step is a war of public opinion. Ethan and his mother like to ruin my reputation in the neighborhood, right? Then I'll play along. I picked a weekend afternoon, timing it so that Ethan's mother, Mrs. Miller, would be chatting and playing cards with her old friends in the community garden, and went straight there. I wore a well-fitting dress, with just the right amount of haggardness and sadness on my face, and carried a basket of fruit in my hand. Auntie, I said, walking up to their card table, my voice not loud, but loud enough for everyone around to hear. When Mrs. Miller saw me, her face immediately darkened. She wanted to lash out, but restrained herself for the sake of the surrounding neighbors. What are you doing here? She asked in a surly tone. The neighbors who were playing cards and chatting around all stopped and looked at us curiously. I placed the fruit basket on the stone table, my voice trembling almost imperceptibly, and my eyes reddened at just the right moment. Auntie, I came to see you. I heard you weren't feeling well a few days ago. I'm sorry. It's all because of me that you got angry. My docile and tearful appearance immediately aroused the sympathy of the surrounding aunties. Oh dear, what happened here? Oh, it's little Ava. I haven't seen you for a few days. Why have you lost so much weight? Mrs. Miller didn't expect me to make this move and was momentarily speechless, but she quickly recovered and raised her voice. Who wants your false kindness? Let me tell you, Ava Smith, our family can't tolerate a daughter-in-law like you who can't lay eggs and lies. Divorce my son immediately. As soon as these words came out, there was an uproar around. What? Divorce? Can't lay eggs? What's going on? I showed a hurt and incredulous expression at just the right moment, tears welling up in my eyes. Auntie, I know my health isn't good. It turns out that I might have difficulty having children. I'm so sorry to Ethan. And sorry to you, but this was only discovered 3 days after I got married. I really didn't know before. How could I lie to you? I turned to the surrounding neighbors, my voice choked with sobs. Uncles and aunties, you be the judge. I just got married 3 days ago, and the medical examination revealed that I have health problems. Ethan wants to divorce me the next day, saying I committed marriage fraud. We've been dating for 2 years. Doesn't he know me? For this family, I contributed most of the money to decorate the house, and my parents gave hundreds of thousands in dowry. His family promised a bride price, but we haven't seen a penny of it. Now they say I'm after their money. What am I after? My words were like a bomb, exploding in the crowd. What? Ava paid for the renovation? No bride price given? And she even provided a dowry? Divorcing as soon as it was discovered? That's too heartless. Mrs. Miller's face turned purplish red. She stood up abruptly, pointed at my nose, and yelled, "What nonsense are you spouting? Our Ethan married you out of pity. You're nothing but a jinx, a husband killer. You'll bring misfortune to our whole family. How dare you try to twist the truth here?" "Auntie," I said, lifting my head, tears streaming down, but my eyes were firm. "Whether I'm talking nonsense or not, Ethan knows in his heart, not only does he want a divorce, but he also presented a detailed dating bill, demanding that I compensate him for the expenses during our courtship, a total of 58,000 yuan, and wants me to increase it to 100,000 yuan for him. Uncle and auntie, is there any logic to demanding that the woman compensate for the money spent on meals, movies, and gifts during dating after a breakup? What? There's a dating bill too? My God, this man is too calculating. More than 50,000, and still need to raise 100,000? This is extortion. The neighbors' discussions grew louder and louder, and their eyes were full of contempt and disdain as they looked at Mrs. Miller. Mrs. Miller, exasperated, retorted, "You're talking nonsense. You spent all that willingly. You deserve it. Who told you that you can't have children? Is it my choice that I can't have children?" I smiled sadly, but my voice suddenly rose, filled with suppressed anger. Just because of this, Ethan took people to my parents' house to splash paint and write abusive words, making my mother so angry that she had a heart attack, and she's still in the hospital. Auntie, even if I really can't have children, we were husband and wife. You can't treat my parents like this, right? They are innocent. Your mother deserved it. Who told her to give birth to someone like you? Enough. Aunt Zhang, who has a pretty good relationship with our family, couldn't stand it anymore and stood up to interrupt Mrs. Miller. I said, "Old sister, you can't be so wicked. Where has Ava done anything to offend you? No one wants to be in poor health. Ethan is being too awful. He even harassed her parents. Is that something a human would do?" "That's right. Too much. Such a good wife, beautiful and capable, paying for the renovation herself and bringing a dowry. You'd be hard-pressed to find another one like her, turning against someone and demanding money just for having a child. TSK. Public opinion completely turned to my side. Mrs. Miller's face turned pale as the neighbors chimed in one after another. Her lips trembled, but she couldn't utter a word in rebuttal. She glared at me fiercely, knowing that continuing would only be more embarrassing, and abruptly pushed back her chair, fleeing in disgrace. Watching her disheveled back, I sneered inwardly. This is only the beginning. I wiped away my tears and bowed deeply to the surrounding neighbors. Thank you, uncles and aunts, for speaking up for me. Sorry for making you all witness this farce. Good child, don't be sad. This kind of man is better off without. Do you need help with your parents' side? Let me know if you do. I thanked them one by one, then turned and left. I knew that in less than half a day, the glorious deeds of Ethan's family would spread throughout the community. Returning to that so-called home of Ethan and mine, I calmly packed my belongings. This place, once full of anticipation, now only makes me feel disgusted. In the evening, Ethan came back. His face was gloomy, and he obviously already knew what had happened in the afternoon. "Ava Smith, you've really grown some guts. You dare to ruin my mother's reputation in the neighborhood," he roared at me as soon as he entered the door. I raised my head and looked at him coldly. "I just told the truth. Compared to you taking people to my house to pour paint and making my mother sick with anger, what is this?" "You," Ethan choked on my words, then put on a hurt expression. "Ava, how have you become like this? You weren't like this before. I know you're upset, but you can't. Stop pretending, Ethan." I interrupted his hypocritical performance. Put away your melodramatic act. I'm tired of watching it even if you're not. I walked up to him, looked him straight in the eyes, and said, word by word, when you were pursuing me, weren't you just interested in my good job, decent family background, and passable looks, thinking that marrying me would save you a few years of hard work? You didn't love me, you were weighing the pros and cons, thinking I was a cost-effective investment. Now you've discovered that my core function, childbearing, may be defective, unable to meet your expected return, so you want to immediately cut your losses, and even want to squeeze out residual value, right? I analyzed him using the value theory he was most familiar with, watching his face turn pale bit by bit. You're talking nonsense. His eyes flickered, and he clearly lacked confidence. I'm talking nonsense? I sneered. Did you forge that 58,000 yuan dating bill? Was it a ghost who threw paint on my house? Or are you willing to swear that if there wasn't a problem with my health, you would still be so quick to ask me for a divorce? Ethan was completely speechless. He looked at me, his eyes filled with shock and a hint of subtle panic, as if he was truly seeing me for the first time. Yes, the gentle, considerate Ava who always thought of him had been personally killed by him. Standing in front of him now was a calm, rational, and even somewhat cold-blooded avenger. What exactly do you want? He asked, his voice dry. It very simple. I walked to the window, looking at a black Maybach parked downstairs. Divorce is possible, but not now. Moreover, the divorce terms need to be renegotiated. That Maybach belongs to Brandon. I specifically asked him to drive it here today and park it in the most conspicuous spot downstairs. I know Ethan has an almost fanatical longing for luxury cars, which is the best manifestation of his pathetic vanity. Sure enough, Ethan followed my gaze and looked down, his eyes lighting up immediately. This car, whose is it? His tone carried a hint of barely perceptible envy and inquiry. It's my cousin's, I said casually. Brandon from Apex Corp. You should have heard of him. He's recently been negotiating a big project and needs a suitable driver and assistant. I thought your image was good, so I mentioned you to him. Ethan's breathing noticeably quickened. Apex Corp. That was a top-tier technology company. Brandon was young but already in a high position, driving a Maybach. This was the life he dreamed of. If he could get in with Brandon. You told your cousin about me? Ethan's voice carried a hint of flattery. Okay, I nodded, pretending to be casual, and said, however, I haven't decided whether to recommend you yet. After all, our current relationship is a bit awkward. I successfully saw the calculation and hesitation flashing in Ethan's eyes. He looked at the Maybach downstairs, then at me. The anger and impatience on his face disappeared, replaced by a hypocritical gentleness. Ava, look at what you /re saying. We were husband and wife after all. I was too impulsive before. I'm sorry. As for the divorce, we can discuss it again. No rush, no rush. Single quote. The fish is hooked. Really? I feigned surprise. But auntie over there. I'll talk to my mom. Ethan immediately declared. She's just confused for a moment. I'll go and persuade her. Ava, you see, we still have feelings for each other, right? Your health is not good, and you need someone to take care of you even more. As for the divorce, let's reconsider it after you're fully recovered. Looking at his instantly changed, fawning appearance, I sneered inwardly, but remained calm on the surface. Okay, since you say so, then, let's not get divorced for now. That's great. Ethan was overjoyed, and even wanted to come up and hug me. I calmly avoided him. I'm a little tired and want to rest. Okay, you rest. Ethan nodded and bowed quickly. Call me anytime if you need anything. Looking at his attentive back, I knew that half of my plan had succeeded. Using Brandon's Maybach as bait, I temporarily stabilized Ethan and made him postpone the divorce. This bought me valuable time. Next is the second step, empty him out. Taking advantage of the few days when Ethan changed his mind about me and lowered his guard, I found an opportunity to secretly get his phone. His phone password is still my birthday, which is ironic. I quickly opened his bank app and payment software and found his linked credit card information. He has several credit cards, all with high limits. He usually spends lavishly, probably to maintain his pitiful elite persona. I unbound the bank SMS notification associated with his credit card and simultaneously turned off the large transaction alerts for the payment app. This way, when I use his credit card, he won't receive immediate notifications. After doing all of this, I deleted the operation traces and put the phone back where it was. No one would ever know. Then, I contacted Brandon, /brother, help me find someone, / who is it? A woman. She has a clear goal, to find a rich man, preferably the kind who is a bit vain and easily fooled by superficial appearances. I paused and added, she has to be beautiful, have a good figure, and be highly skilled. Brandon understood immediately. You want to set a trap for him? Treat him the way he treats others. My voice was calm. Doesn't he value things? I'll make him pay the price for the value he pursues. Okay, leave this to me. Brandon was extremely efficient and sent me the information of a girl named Sophia in just a couple of days. The Sophia in the photos was indeed eye-catching. A typical internet celebrity face, with a hot body and eyes full of ambition. The information showed that she frequented various high-end venues with a clear goal, to hook up with rich guys. She's the one, I replied to Brandon. I've already had someone contact her and hinted that a young and promising financial upstart, the identity Ethan bragged about, is currently having relationship problems, making it a good time to strike. The location and opportunity have been arranged, and we're just waiting for the male lead to make his appearance. Brandon replied, very good. I looked at Sophia's photo, a cold smile creeping onto my lips. Next, it's time to give our /male lead a good makeover. I took out my phone, opened the shopping app, and started placing orders like crazy using Ethan's credit card. Luxury brand suits, ties, cufflinks, leather shoes, the latest smartwatch, high-end perfume. I gave him a makeover from head to toe. These things were expensive, but since it was Ethan's card being charged, I didn't feel any pity. The packages arrived at home one after another, and Ethan was surprised and delighted to see them. Ava, did you buy this? Yes. I pretended to be nonchalant. Seeing you've been in a bad mood lately, I bought you something to cheer you up. It's also time for a change of image, befitting your status as a financial rising star, Ethan was stunned by my sudden generosity. His previous doubts and unhappiness vanished, and he hugged the new clothes, unable to put them down. Ava, you're so good to me. I knew you still cared about me. I looked at him, his head clouded by vanity, and felt only contempt in my heart. A few days later, at a business reception carefully arranged by Brandon, a completely transformed Ethan, driving Brandon's Maybach that I borrowed, of course. Ethan thought I borrowed it from my cousin specifically to please him, successfully attracted the attention of the gold digger, Sophia. The following plot unfolded completely according to my script. Sophia took the initiative to approach him, and Ethan, blinded by beauty and vanity, quickly became intimate with her. I was resting at home peacefully, occasionally using Ethan's card to buy Sophia bags and jewelry, creating the illusion that Ethan was generous with her, further fueling their relationship. Meanwhile, I used the monitoring software I had previously installed on his phone, a basic operation for programmers, to quietly collect evidence of their affair, ambiguous chat logs, intimate photos, hotel check-in records. I had everything under control. Ethan thought he was getting away with everything, stabilizing me, the original wife with connections, while also enjoying the pleasures of having a mistress outside. Little did he know, he was gradually walking into the trap I had tailored for him. As the days went by, my body was recovering, Ethan's debts were accumulating, and his relationship with Sophia was also heating up, until one day, I received a message from Brandon. The fish has taken the bait. Sophia is pregnant. The time has come. I've gathered all the evidence, Ethan's cheating chat logs, photos, videos, hotel records, Sophia's pregnancy test report, and detailed bills of my credit card spending for him, all of which will serve as evidence of his squandering marital property during the marriage. Then, I calmly submitted the divorce petition to the court. Claims, divorce, division of marital property, mainly the house, renovation costs and dowry need to be converted and returned, demanding Ethan compensate for the emotional distress caused by his infidelity and domestic violence, harassment of my family. Ethan was completely dumbfounded when he received the court summons. He probably didn't expect that I, who had always been gentle and obedient and begging to get back together, would suddenly pull this on him. He rushed home to question me, his face full of disbelief and betrayed anger. Ava Smith, you're plotting against me? Plotting? I looked at him and laughed. Ethan, this is called /reciprocity. You should have thought this day would come when you presented that relationship bill back then. Those pieces of evidence, How did you get them? Were you spying on me? His face was as white as a sheet. If you don't want people to know, you shouldn't have done it in the first place, I said calmly. Your affair with Sophia, and you maxing out your credit cards. You think I really didn't know? Ethan looked at my calm face and finally realized he had been played from beginning to end. The anger in his eyes turned to fear. Ava, you can't do this to me. Let /s talk more. There /s nothing to talk about. I interrupted him. See you in court. On the day of the court hearing, the evidence was irrefutable. Ethan's infidelity, his squandering of marital property during the marriage, those luxury goods and expenses for Sophia, and his previous harassment of my parents were all presented one by one. He tried to argue that I was maliciously retaliating because I couldn't have children, but my lawyer produced my premarital medical examination report, proving I was unaware before the marriage, and evidence of the harassment and my mother's hospitalization. His defense was weak and unconvincing. The court finally ruled, divorce granted, the marital home belongs to me. Considering my investment and the other party's fault, Ethan needs to return my renovation costs and the translated value of the dowry, and pay me $1.5 million in compensation for emotional distress. The credit card debt he squandered during the marriage is his sole responsibility. After the sentencing, Ethan stopped me at the courthouse door. His face contorted. Ava Smith, you're ruthless. Just you wait. I won't let you get away with this. Always at your service, I said coldly, turning to leave. I knew it wasn't over. Sure enough, a few days later, a large number of posts smearing me began to appear on social media. An anonymous account posted a long article, tearfully accusing me of chaotic private life, concealing infertility before marriage to defraud marriage, making my mother-in-law sick, and using my family background to suppress my husband's family. It was fabricated with great detail, and also accompanied by some out-of-context chat records and photoshopped pictures. It doesn't take a genius to know that this is Ethan's doing. He wants to ruin me. For a while, netizens who didn't know the truth were incited, and all kinds of abusive language flooded my social media accounts. I was prepared. This bit of cyber violence isn't enough to defeat me. But Ethan's next move once again refreshed my understanding of how low he could go. He actually ran away with his mom and the pregnant Sophia. He even took away part of the money the judgment required him to return to me. Brandon got the news immediately and told me. He withdrew all the cash he could, and maxed out his credit cards. He's probably trying to hide and wait for things to blow over. Does he think he can get away with it? I sneered. I immediately called the police to report the crimes of encroaching on other people's property and refusing to execute the judgment. At the same time, I activated Plan B. Remember that Maybach? The one Ethan drove away. I had Brandon install the highest-grade GPS tracking system in the car a long time ago. Brother, help me locate that car. A few minutes later, Brandon sent an address /found it. At a remote rural resort. / very good. / a cold glint flashed in my eyes. / it's time to meet them. / Brandon and I, with the police, went straight to that resort. Knocking on the door, Sophia answered with a look of panic. Ethan and his mother were also inside, and their faces turned pale when they saw us and the police. Ethan Miller, you are suspected of encroaching on other people's property and refusing to execute the judgment. Come with us. The police stepped forward and put handcuffs on him directly. Mrs. Miller screamed and lunged forward. What are you doing? Why are you arresting my son? It's this bitch who harmed us. The police stopped her. Ethan's face was ashen, his eyes filled with despair. At this moment, Sophia, who had been stunned to the side, suddenly looked at me with a complex expression. It's you. Did you design this? I looked at her bulging abdomen and said calmly, Sophia, is it? The child in your belly, is it Ethan's? Sophia subconsciously protected her belly and nodded. Then do you know that the Maybach he drives is borrowed? He is penniless now and owes a lot of credit card debt. The financial elite he told you about are all lies he made up. I told her the truth clearly, word by word. Sophia's face turned pale instantly, and she looked at Ethan, who was being held by the police, in disbelief. You lied to me? Ethan's eyes darted around, not daring to look at her. He not only deceived you, but also wanted to use the child in your belly to continue to gain sympathy, and may even ask you to abort the child to avoid his responsibility. I continued. He can make his own biological mother sick, and abandon, slander, and demand compensation from his wife of only 3 days because she can't have children. Do you think he has any sincerity towards you? Sophia swayed, her eyes filled with disillusionment and anger. She probably finally understood that the wealthy husband she had been so eager to catch was nothing more than a complete liar and scumbag. Ethan and his mother were taken away by the police. She looked at me, her eyes complex. Why did you tell me all this? Because in some ways, we are all people who have been deceived and hurt by him. I looked at her. You chose your own path, and the child is yours. Where to go from here is up to you, but don't be blinded by lies anymore. After speaking, I turned and left. Ethan was sentenced to 3 years in prison for embezzlement and refusal to execute the judgment, involving a huge amount of money and serious circumstances, coupled with the previous act of defamation. At the same time I reported to the police. I also filed a criminal private prosecution against him for defamation, and submitted all the evidence of his rumors on the internet, and ultimately several crimes were punished together. After he was sentenced, I posted the complete chain of evidence on social media, the court's judgment, my premarital medical examination report, proving my ignorance, the complete chat history between Ethan and me, all the evidence of his affair with Sophia, his credit card bills, the photos and videos of him splashing paint at my house, and my mother's hospital admission certificate. The truth came out. The comments attacking me disappeared instantly, replaced by a barrage of criticism against Ethan and his mother. Public opinion completely reversed. My reputation was cleared. The subsequent events fell like dominoes. After learning the whole truth, Sophia resolutely went to the hospital for an abortion. Mrs. Miller, upon learning that her only grandson was gone, was so angry that she went to the hospital to make a scene, but was stopped by security. Immediately afterwards, credit card collection calls from major banks and lawyers' letters came one after another. The blizzard of bills completely overwhelmed the old lady, who didn't have much knowledge in the first place. Under the double blow of learning that her son had been sentenced and burdened with huge debts, Mrs. Miller suffered a stroke, became paralyzed, and was unable to take care of herself. 3 years later, Ethan was released from prison. He had nothing. His reputation was ruined. His mother was paralyzed in bed and needed care, and he was burdened with debts he couldn't repay. He still seemed unwilling to accept it and went to Sophia, probably wanting to rekindle their relationship or demand some compensation. As a result, he had his leg broken directly by Sophia's new boyfriend, said to be a fitness coach. As for me, after experiencing this melodramatic marital farce, my life returned to normal. I changed to a new work environment and met new friends. I went to the hospital again for a detailed examination. The doctor told me that my uterine cyst was recovering well. As for the ovarian problem, although natural conception is difficult, it is not entirely hopeless. With the development of medical technology, it can be solved by surgery or assisted reproductive technology in the future. Hearing this news, my heart was filled with peace. Whether or not I can have children seems less important to me now. What's important is that I have the ability to re-choose and control my own life. Standing in the sun, I took a deep breath, feeling freedom and rebirth. The road ahead is still long, but I know I will walk more firmly and more clearly. As for love and marriage, I'll let fate decide. If I meet the right person, I will bravely love. If not, I can still live wonderfully alone. After all, my worth is never defined by others, let alone measured by the ability to bear children. The final interpretation rests with me. Only Sophia and I were left in the room. It really is a case of bad people getting their just desserts.